updates on Vance Bolter.
The process to healing begins.
And his charges of federal and state murder. A proposal from a Republican senator.
It's time to give American workers a raise.
To raise the federal minimum wage. And tournament for the youths.
You're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of soccer players.
And their opportunity to shine on a global stage. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Jose Carlos Rodriguez.
I'm Mauro Rueda. Today it's Tuesday, June 17th, 2025.
Live from the Lee Kaplan School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Kaplan News.
After the assassination of a Minnesota lawmaker, the suspect is now in court. The suspect accused of shooting two Minnesota lawmakers now faces both state and federal murder charges after appearing in federal court.
Yes, and officials say Vance shot a state senator and his wife, and then a Minnesota representative and her husband. Kaplan's Dylan Pesce has more.
Vance Bolter inflicted unimaginable harm to our community Saturday morning. And he did it while impersonating the very people who are trusted to protect and serve.
Investigators say these haunting surveillance images show murder suspect Vance Bolter wearing a mask, police-style badge, and tactical vest as he approached the front door of Democratic State Senator John Hoffman early Saturday morning. Bolter is accused of shooting and wounding Hoffman and his wife shortly before he shot and killed State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband.
Today, the manhunt is over, but the investigation continues, and more importantly, the process to healing begins.
Authorities captured him after a massive, roughly 43-hour manhunt.
My expectation, based on prior cases, is the federal charges will be litigated first, but the state charges won't necessarily go anywhere. At the scene.
Bolter is now in federal custody. State law enforcement turned him over Monday morning to face additional charges. While law enforcement is still investigating a motive, they have confirmed the gunman had an apparent hit list with dozens of names, including prominent Democrats and figures with ties to the Planned Parenthood or abortion right movements.
It is a frightening time we are living in. Political violence is prevalent, and the way we talk to and about each other has raised the temperature to unfathomable levels. We cannot continue on this way.
For Kaplan News, I'm Dylan Pesce reporting.
An early return from the G7 for President Trump. As CNN's Amy Kiley reports, he has a scheduled meeting in the Situation Room to discuss Iran.
I have to be back. Very important.
President Donald Trump says he left the G7 summit early to confer with national security staff about Iran and its growing conflict with Israel.
Remember, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. To go too deep into it, they just can't have a nuclear weapon.
It's in a region that contains a crucial oil route and U.S. military bases. The Situation Room meeting follows Trump's call yesterday for an evacuation of Tehran. Reports indicate Israeli attacks there. The defense secretary says he has sent additional U.S. military capabilities to the Mideast.
I want to see no nuclear weapon in Iran, and we're well on our way to making sure that happens.
Iran's uranium enrichment program is now 50 times the level it was when Trump withdrew from a nuclear agreement with that country in 2018.
Iran has already missiles that can reach Eastern Europe. Wait few more years, they can reach the heart of Europe.
Trump says he wants a ceasefire agreement that includes a nuclear deal. Two sources say he's directing his team to discuss that with Iranian officials as quickly as possible. The White House says the U.S. would defend its regional interests if necessary. Analysts say Israel doesn't have a weapon capable of taking out Iran's Fordo nuclear site. Some say the U.S. does.
Maybe Trump is orchestrating this to make the Iranians an offer he hopes they won't refuse. I suspect they will refuse it.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
President Trump ramps up immigration enforcement, ordering ICE to increase daily arrests in major U.S. cities. The Trump administration set a goal of 3,000 deportations per day, but sources say that number isn't being reached. Meanwhile, internal ICE records show that most detainees are violent criminals, with less than 10% convicted of serious offenses like murder or rape since October.
Whistleblowers are shunning the Office of Special Counsel, the office that's supposed to protect them, fearing what they call Trump partisanship. Experts and former officials say the agency has been overtaken by Trump loyalists, pushing whistleblowers to turn on them instead of Congress or the media. Critics say the situation worsened when Trump nominated Paul Ingracia, a self-described true MAGA loyalist, to lead the office.
A Republican in the Senate is going to war with his own party over the issue of the minimum wage. As CNN's Jen Sullivan reports, he has crossed party lines to support doubling it to $15 an hour.
A proposal to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour is gaining traction.
The minimum wage hasn't increased in 15 years.
Republican Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri has teamed up with Democratic Senator Peter Welch of Vermont to introduce the legislation.
I just think it's basic justice. It's time to give American workers a raise.
Right now, the federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour and hasn't been raised since 2009. This proposal would be more than double that rate. Several states, though, have voted to raise their minimum wages. The highest minimum wage is in the District of Columbia at $17.50 an hour, followed by Washington State, $16.66 an hour, and California's minimum wage, $16.50 an hour. But many states just use the federal minimum wage as their own. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that $7.25 in June of 2009 would be equivalent to $10.81 when you factor in inflation. And while inflation has cooled recently, according to a recent federal report, one financial expert responding to the latest consumer price index number said Americans still feel like the cost of living is high.
Most people are most likely not looking at a purely economic sentiment reading. They're taking the assessment of their whole picture.
Here's the concern of raising the federal minimum wage. A few years ago, when the Congressional Budget Office looked at what a similar hourly increase would do to the economy, they found some low-wage workers could become jobless as business owners hired fewer workers due to rising labor costs. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Meta has made some big changes for one of its most popular apps, announcing WhatsApp will no longer be ad-free. Now, the ads will be shown in the updates feature of the app, which is used by roughly 1.5 billion people every day. To determine which ads should be targeted, WhatsApp will gather data including location and default languages. To not worry its users, the company says it won't target message content and won't show ads in that section.
The Marlins are returning home after a sweep in their last series.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
The coolest piece about this event is going to be the level of kids that it will be in touch with.
Even with the Club World Cup in the spotlight, another tournament will soon be giving young players a chance to shine. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Every day.
Millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
To get to know each other.
On a deeper level.
Father.
Cosplayer.
Mentor.
Actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together.
And discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Rising stars are at the center of a new tournament hosted here in South Florida in time to coincide with the next year's World Cup. Even though the Club World Cup is taking over the soccer landscape, another tournament is making wave to younger players.
The Youth World Cup is an initiative that looks to bring new opportunities for kids across the globe. Kaplan's Stephanie Tenia has more on the story.
Now, this might not be your regular soccer ball. It's bouncy, it's rubber, and it's definitely not FIFA approved. But the excitement for the Youth World Cup, that's 100% real. Soccer isn't just about the pros anymore. The Youth World Cup, it's where it all begins. An international tournament for players ages 8 to 19. It brings together thousands of young athletes from across the globe to compete, grow, and shine.
The coolest piece about this event is going to be the level of kids that it will be in touch with. From a recreation to a competitive standard, from the U8 to the U19 age groups, boys and girls, you're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of soccer players.
It all starts with a group play from September to November 2025, with teams guarantee at least 3 matches. Top teams move to knockout rounds, all building towards the championship weekend in Miami, happening May 28 to May 31st, 2026.
First thing is it's inclusive. So the cost is half of what a competitive tournament costs. That was important. But we also are not turning any team, any kid away. We have a special project within the project to make sure everybody gets to participate. It's also open. So you have teams from, very, very small communities and neighborhoods that potentially could be competing against Inter Miami's Academy because the tournament's open.
But the Youth World Cup, it's more than a tournament. It's an international celebration of teamwork, diversity, and sportsmanship. With divisions ranging from gold to bronze, players of all levels get the chance to experience high-stakes soccer with global visibility.
It's important
for the kids to see soccer, the passion it brings, and to get them involved and build a relationship with the sport.
So, while this ball might not be making it to the Youth World Cup, the future stars are getting ready to make history. Reporting for Kaplan News, I'm Stephanie Tenia.
The Marlins opens the series with a tough loss to the Phillies last night. Tria Turner took Sandy Alcantara deep in just the second pitch, and Max Kepler added a solo shot to keep Phillies in the control. Alcantara did make history though, passing Josh Johnson for the second on Miami's all-time strikeout list. Connor Norby drove in a run, but Miami couldn't capitalize. But game 2 is tonight, and first pitch is at 6:40. Hopefully they can bounce back. Final score is Phillies 5, Marlins 2. You're watching Newsbreak, and we're coming right back.
Really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes.
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Go get one. Another satisfied customer. Stop by Pantotech in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
And we want to wish some luck to the Florida Panthers today. If we win this game, Mauro, we're Stanley Cup champions.
For the second year in a row. Vamos Gatos! That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Mauro Rueda.
And I'm Jose Carlos Rodriguez. To get more news anytime at kaplannews.fiu.edu.